like on this one
Oh, no,
here.
you're just having this out ready.
Here,
Yes, we're doing the public hearing for the doggy
here's Route
day.
25, and here's Secaucus, which is Route 11. And it says see insect. But, yeah, exactly. That's why I can't quite understand.
We're on.
That's what I see.
We're on, ladies and gentlemen. If you could pull your mics down, please. Pull your mics down so you can be heard, please. Good evening, everyone. This is the July 21st meeting of the Planning Board. And the first item on our agenda is a public hearing for the doggy daycare business down on Hardscrabble. And if you'd like to just get up and how many people are here for the public hearing? Okay. Yep. If you could just give us an overview, like you did the other night, of what you plan to do, just so everybody can hear what it is you plan to do, okay?
Yeah, I'm just opening a small doggy daycare for the
If you
town.
speak into the mic, Kayla, because we're on television and people can't hear you.
For dog stuff.
And you have an area that's air conditioned for them to be in.
Yeah. Yeah,
And then you have a
air-conditioning.
penned-in area out the
Yep.
backside of your house.
Yeah, it's a fenced-in yard, and then the indoor area is AC and heat.
All right, I'm going to stay at the mic if you would, please. I'm going to open it up to questions for anybody that's here. Anybody here?
What would the hours be of the doggy daycare? I don't know that.
Yeah,
Okay, what I'm going to do, hold on just a
Yeah.
minute, Kayla, please. If you have a question, I would ask you to go to the mic and state your name. That's okay, we're very friendly here. Just state your name and address and your question.
Hi, Daniel Whittier, 473 San Juan Road.
Okay, and your question was?
What would be the hours of the doggy daycare? And would there be any dogs in the evening or anything like that?
So I plan to have my hours 8 to 5 to hopefully work around people's work schedules so they could drop off in the morning before work, pick them up after work.
Is that your plan, or is that what it is?
That's what she's.
Yeah, that's what it would be.
Just let me explain for those of you who used to how the planning board functions. She had an application she presented. We did a site walk last week, and now this is the public hearing to get input from neighbors, and et cetera. And then we usually make a decision later in the evening. And what happens is we put conditions on this notice of decision, and one of the conditions would be the hours. So when we have 10 days to write that decision, and we take into consideration, there's a process in this zoning ordinance book that we go through, and it's standard for everybody. And by the time we go through that and we hear from you, we hear from her, et cetera, then we do the notice of decision. Okay? Excuse me. Anyone else have questions? If you could go to the mic, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm Marion McNally at 460 San Juan Road. This is my husband, Bill, over here. And we've lived in that area for probably almost 40 years now. And the reason we like the area is because it's quiet.
Yeah, if you could talk into the
Oh,
mic.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The reason we like the area is because it's quiet. It's a friendly neighborhood. There's a lot of older people there, but some younger people too as well. So it's a nice neighborhood to live in, and we've always loved it there. Lots of deer and lots of wildlife and that sort of thing. So one of my concerns is that if
you could keep to the mic.
I'll put my hands here and I won't move. I guess one of the concerns I have is that if the dogs are outside during the day, and there's maybe 8, 10, 12 dogs, the first thing that comes to our minds, my husband and myself, is barking. Dogs like to play. They sometimes like to fight. We've had dogs. I've had horses. I've had cats. I've had everything. And as we all know, pets and animals and wild animals tend to get into scraps once in a while. We've never had that happen in our area. And that's what I think I'm concerned about a little bit, is that if there's a lot of dogs outside or in a pen, they start scrummaging around with each other and they're barking all the time. So I think that's my biggest concern, is that there's a lot of barking during the day. I understand the enclosed areas. I'm assuming there's an enclosed pen that's outside. Yeah. So that's what, and there's other dogs in the neighborhood. They bark occasionally. There's one across the road. There's one up the street, and they all bark a little bit. But there's not a lot of noise coming from the other neighborhood dogs. So that's really my biggest concern, is just hearing a lot of barking coming from that area because it is so close, and we're right at the intersection.
You're going to pick them up versus leaving them there in the hot sun. And then also, what's your plan if a dog gets loose because you're in the neighborhood, you're not in the woods or something like that, or in a big, huge facility. You've got your where you live and a pen for the dogs. And then I guess the other question that I have is, I think about fighting animals, I think about a dog getting loose. How can you handle this by yourself? I have trouble conceptualizing one person, if there's an animal being crazy or gone or gets hurt and you're there by yourself. What happens to all the other dogs that are there when you're taking care of that one?
Thank you. Okay, Kayla, you can answer those.
Okay. So I kind of want to address all of that. So the first one with the noise. So that's part of the reason why I picked those hours, is so that it wouldn't go into the nighttime. That way we're not keeping people awake or the whole neighborhood awake. The other part is I would be requiring a behavior consultation. So the dogs would come in, I would meet them, I would assess their temperaments, their behaviors, how they react to things. If they are too crazy and too loud, then they just wouldn't be able to be allowed. They would have to be appropriate. They would have to be able to interact with dogs appropriately. And then I would kind of look at all of their behaviors and see who would be the best fit for what other dogs, and kind of plan by the day who signs up, just to kind of plan out the day to minimize, poor interactions. The other thing is I do plan on keeping this a small daycare, so it would be 10 to 15 dogs a day. Your standard daycares sometimes have 40 dogs to a room with only 2 workers there, and that's just not safe. So that's why I plan on keeping it small, and looking at all of their behaviors, kind of assessing the dogs as individuals first before just throwing them into a group. And with the dog waste, I have reached out already to a company, I guess, because I know it was brought up at the site walk too, how I would kind of keep it clean and sanitary. So the state of Maine Animal Welfare, they require that I keep it clean daily. So I would be out there with the dogs. They wouldn't ever be left unsupervised. So if I see them going to the bathroom, it would be picked up immediately. And I'll be renting out a dumpster that will be picked up regularly. That way that's taken care of and disposed of where it needs to go. And then the yard has to be cleaned and disinfected daily also. So I'd be going through the whole yard daily to clean any of that up. And then what was?
I think he
what was
asked
your-
about a covered area, and we did speak about that when we were on the sidewalk.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about a dog getting loose.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, so I will be taking measures to make sure that no dogs get out. So it's a secure fence. It's 6 feet tall, so dogs aren't just going to be able to hop over it or anything. I'll be checking it every day. They'll be monitored to make sure nobody's trying to destroy any of it, or try to dig out or anything. And then inside would also be the same. I've got locks on the doors. It would be, I can put up a gate, make sure nobody's getting out. If somebody were to get out, I would have to make sure all of the dogs are secure, and then I'd have to go out and find that dog. I can't just let them run around the neighborhood. So that would be my plan, is to find the dog if they went out.
And didn't you say that you were going to have a covered area, that the state required there be a covered area outside?
Yeah, so in the yard, they require any outdoor exercise area to have some sort of shade exclusive of the structures, so there would also be like a outside covering for that too.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Oh. So I thought we were just supposed to ask questions and not say anything else.
No, you're free to make a comment.
So it's basically, I love dogs, I love the Tangways. So it's a little bit of an awkward thing, but years ago, there was a dog at the same location that just barked constantly, but this was like into the night a lot of times. And back then, it's like it sounds like it's right next door to where I live. And so Keith Braley back then, the constable, had to go to, request that to be changed. And so right now I'm also battling cancer, and so I have to sleep. And I know with 15 dogs that are going to sound like they're right outside my door, it's going to be hard. So that's my concern. I like the idea, and I've walked by, I've seen the dogs you have now. I like your dogs. And all of that. Huh? No, those dogs are great. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know if you get 15 dogs, probably there's going to be a lot of barking. So that's my concern, and I have to go too, so I won't be around. But I just wanted to express this.
Certainly, thank you.
And I wish the
Yeah, he spoke first time.
yeah, Daniel Whittier.
You've been up the second time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So.
You've been over there a long time, if you remember Keith Braley.
Oh yeah. No, I've been there. I don't know. I guess around 20 years or so. Yep.
Okay, thank you
So
very much.
that's it.
Is there anyone else that would like to make a comment? Yes,
I just have one other comment.
Sure.
You brought something up about it. That whole area, the whole area that we're talking about here is in the Waterboro, Limington, Hollis Sanctuary. And there are all kinds of state regulations and requirements for any business, let alone a dog-related business, to operate in there. And I'm not even going to I tried to do some reading on it, but the more I read, the more confusing it got. But there seems to be a lot of stuff that the state requires, and in some situations, they even require their own inspection, and they may even require their own licensing. And I just want to point out that is a sanctuary. And supposedly, anything that we do in a sanctuary is also supposed to be to help the animals that are there to live and roam in peace. And any kind of loud noise, anything like a lot of different types of tractors, or in this case, a lot of barking dogs, may be something that inhibits the way those animals are supposed to be there living in the sanctuary.
thank you. Any other comments?
Yeah, I can add more
Sure, absolutely.
to kind of my experiences. I've had over 5 years now training dogs as well. So I know what to look for as far as behaviors. Like, I'm not going to let untrained dogs into this business. They're going to have some kind of background. They're going to have to be behaved. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to be allowed and interact with other dogs. That's just how it's going to have to be. They're going to have to be behaved coming in. They're going to have some kind of training prior to coming in. They're going to have the consultation and behavior assessment. So it's not just gonna be like a free-for-all where all these dogs can come in and be loud and crazy. It's gonna be a structured environment. As far as the state requirements, I've been in contact with them regularly. I've got emails going back and forth to talk about what licensing I might need. I've already reached out about the inspection. They do have to inspect the building and the yard, which is why the turf is going to have to be installed so that the dogs have a sanitary outdoor area. They're going to have to look at the building to make sure it's structurally sound and to make sure it can contain the noise inside the building, and to make sure that it's safe for the dogs to be in there. And they require a license for daycare. I've already reached out to them, and they're ready to give me my license for that as soon as I get the inspection. So,
One other question. You wouldn't have all 15 dogs outside at once anyway, would you?
no, it would really depend on how they interact with each other, because not every dog is going to be, you know, the right size, the right temperament. I'll have to just look at who signs up, who's there that day, and just plan accordingly for who's there.
Any other questions?
I have a question. At the site, is there a buffer around, natural buffer for sound?
What do you,
Like trees?
Like trees,
No.
something to obscure the sound.
not on there's some between some of the properties, but not between every single property line, no.
No.
Oh, in front of the house, no, it's like by the road.
How about the sides and in the back?
Of the building or the property?
The property, wherever the enclosure for the dogs are.
Oh, like the outdoor yard, there's not trees around there, the fenced-in part, no,
So there's no buffer whatsoever,
No,
no.
no sound buffers.
no. We
Okay.
went on the sidewalk.
Okay.
Any other questions? Any other questions?
I didn't hear what he said. I didn't hear what Peter said.
Pete asked about was there a buffer around the property or around the outdoor pen area to try to mitigate the sound from the dogs? And there is no buffer on the
Well,
side.
they're allowed to have so much sound during the day. I mean, it's not like,
Right.
I understand the barking, I wouldn't want it either, but
And these dogs are gonna be, like, as well-trained as my own personal dogs. My own personal dogs are not nuisances right now, they're not noisy. I mean, nobody here has said that they've heard my own personal dogs. It would be very much the same as having other people's dogs come in. The expectation would be the same.
Okay. Any other questions?
between the inside and outside pen, 15 dogs isn't crowded. I mean,
No, it's not gonna be very crowded, so.
Craig, any questions?
No, I've seen it,
Okay.
looks good.
you're not gonna allow any dogs the size of small ponies anyway, right?
What's that, my own personal dogs?
No. You're not gonna allow any dogs the size of small ponies anyway.
Oh, no, I mean, I mean, it depends on if there's like a well-behaved small pony, then maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Any questions, Paul?
yeah, they're probably better behaved than the smaller dogs, actually.
yeah, you know.
Are there any other questions from the,
I just have,
oh, I'm sorry, Grace, I didn't see you.
so if the
To
dogs,
your mic, please.
if the dogs did get barking and loud outside, do you have thoughts what you could do to help that out so it didn't continue?
Yeah, I mean, I would either just bring them inside because I do have that whole inside area for them to play with, or just kind of interrupting the behavior or continuing